So we'll get right to it.
All
Here
right.
for another exclusive Dallas Fort Worth Music Artist Spotlight. I'm your host Sully, and with me tonight is Joney,
Hello,
R&B
hello.
R&B soul singer. Yep. So,
Thank you.
you've already got the Spotify figured out. You just wrapped up a local concert through Starconz.
Hmm.
Congratulations! Anyone who can assemble any kind of concert venue, that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm like that concert, it inspired, it was literally a dream come true because I honestly never would have thought my music or even this EP would have gotten me even that far. And
Hmm.
I want to say a lot of that in putting it together, I it brought me back to my KD training, which is why when you mentioned it earlier, I was like, yes, we can talk about it because
Yes,
it kind of
I
made me
do my
realize
homework,
how
guys.
much. Yes, thank you. It's like it helped me um remember what Katie taught me, and most specifically what Miss Paula taught me from Katie. So I really owe all of that to Katie and her, and it was just an amazing dream come true experience for me.
So for those who don't know, yeah, Katie College pretty good at just getting people into acting and music. Famous people, including George Ides from CSI, have even gone there. Uh, so
Hmm.
uh, that was around 2012. You started there.
Um, 2012 is when I graduated from high school. So yes, I started October 2012 and
Mm,
graduated January 2014.
nice. And Miss
Hmm.
Paula, that would that be Paula Moreland?
Yes, yes, sir. The
Rest in
one and
peace.
only
Yeah,
legendary.
yeah.
Ah,
She had previously managed in the '70s the Rosella School of Ballet and Ballet Arts Center.
hmm.
I have many other pals who go there on a common basis. Carrie McCormick and a bunch of other pals. What was acting kind of a side passion, or was it kind of just any kind of entertainment?
Well, my main passion had always been singing,
Mm.
and it's stemmed from the Cheetah Girls coming out, and the
Oh,
Cheetah
there's
Girls.
a callback.
Yes,
Classic Disney Channel.
yes.
This is the second
So
time I have heard that come up in a
really,
podcast, and I think it must be making a comeback. Aren't they making like a sequel or something?
it's like I pray that they do. I would prefer an album from them
Oh, there you go.
over a movie. I really would
Yep.
because they they kind of sparked me wanting to be an entertainer, just performing with my friends on the playground. That sparked that. But when it comes to acting, I guess that kind of all tied in with me being an only child and like just acting out Disney movies. My favorite Disney movie to act out was Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. And I played Kiara, and it was just me running around on all fours in my room. And I was like, that's kind of where the
Oh,
acting comes
jumping off a
into.
couch is a dream come true
I used to jump
as a
off a
kid.
bunk bed. See, I was an only child with a bunk bed. Now you know that's spoiled right there. But
Eh,
I
it's not.
used to jump
It's
off the top of the bunk bed
plus you
and
can't
just
blame anyone if anything happens. You're like, yeah, I did that on my own.
But yeah, that's where the acting comes in as well. Kind of just me, entertaining and just going to KD, that kind of, you know, brought that out to life because a lot of that stuff I kind of just did on my own or did at school,
Sweet. Go back a bit. You were class of 2012 at Lake Highlands High School. Altogether, when did you start believing you could bring your own voice to the
Right.
table?
Research. I was like, let's go. Yeah. So yes, I did graduate from Lake Highland. Actually, I was kind of shocked about that. Did you know that? What was the question again? I'm
No, it's all
sorry.
good. When did you find your voice to build on that? And then when did you believe you can contribute your own narrative to the table?
Definitely, I found my voice at KD for sure. In high school, that's kind of where I um kind of explored my voice a little bit.
Mhm.
I got back into choir when I was in high school, and with being in choir, you're with a whole bunch of other people, a whole bunch of other voices, a whole bunch of other people who want to do the same thing you want to do.
Sweet.
And with being in choir, I had like kind of that quiet singing voice. And, it wasn't that powerful, but I always knew it was something I wanted to do. It wasn't until I got to KD and, me as a person, I'm kind of like shy and timid to myself,
Aren't we
but
all?
yeah. And so like whenever I'm performing, that's when I feel the most confident. But with high school, I initially had the voice with the shyness, so I didn't know how to fully develop it. And it wasn't until my second semester in Mark Molino's class, and I sang I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules. And yeah, and so I used to sing in like the no way, we'll say no, no. But he kind of like forced that belt out of me and told me to like take an imaginary piece of paper and just like throw it across the room while I sang. And that was the first time I realized I could belt.
Nice.
And from that point on, I kind of wanted to challenge my voice and challenge myself. And that whole Katie experience just brought that out of me, and it
Lovely.
turned me into the person I didn't know I could be.
Much like speeches, have you ever heard the phrase "make those butterflies in your stomach work"?
No,
Okay,
but
yeah,
it makes sense though.
right. Because you just, I've done it when I've left a voicemail when I realized, oh, there is no take two.
Right? That's why I try not to do voicemails because or
Mhm.
voice memos because I'm like, I can't go back.
Exactly.
Go back.
Go back in time. Growing up, did you have a lot of good support from family who were like, "Oh, you should go do a talent show. You should do improv. You should do a music show."
Oh, I definitely had the support for sure. It it wasn't really until I actually put myself kind of out there to do like
Mm.
performances and shows where my family would be like, "Oh, I'll come out and see it. Oh, I'll do this and then I'll do that." I always felt kind of like conscious to have like family or so around at like performance or anything that I
It's
really did
very
because
distracting because they know you.
yeah, it's like, you kind of get a little bit in your head about certain things, or it's like, oh, there's some stuff I can't do because my mom's here or my dad's here. But
Hmm.
they really show out, and they support me whenever, it is an event that they can come to. And especially with this concert that I had this past Saturday, they helped provide snacks. They helped provide the food. I would tell my dad, I don't. It's like, thank you for helping me. I don't need this much, but he's like, yeah. He's like, you're my baby. We can do this, this, this. So it's I get a lot of the support from them, and this EP really brought out how much my family supports me.
That's lovely.
Mhm.
Uh, Altogether, well, that actually does open a lot. Uh, I was able to cheat. I take my glasses off so I can't see anyone grinning in the audience, but it's a little harder when you don't have that barrier.
Mhm.
So I would be criminal if I did not ask you this. Who were
Right.
some of your icons growing up? Who were your inspirations?
Ah, if you can, well, first and foremost, I don't know if this will be visually seen but you can see it.
Just audio.
I have, oh, gotcha.
I respect your
But
privacy.
oh, thank you, thank you. Michael Jackson for sure.
Sweet.
He has been, um, entertainment wise, musically harmony. He's been one of my influences. Um, Another influence has been Aaliyah.
I just was gonna
She
ask you that. There's some Aaliyah in your work. Oh, that's great.
Yes. Aaliyah, okay, growing up, I always wanted to look and be just like her because I was like, ooh, she is fine. She is sexy. I always wanted like my hair bone straight like hers. I started wearing my whenever my hair's down, I part it this way because she used to part it
Lovely.
that way. Sunglasses help performance wise. So
Those
I
are some really
accredit
rocking
that to her.
glasses. I love how it's like a
Thank
dark
you.
flame.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to
Yes.
hook up with that same uh
Five Below.
glass plus.
Five Below.
Five
So
Below.
Aaliyah for
Perfect.
sure. Yes, that's
Uh
the best place. Some good stuff.
it is.
And
Tony Braxton.
hmm,
Tony Braxton.
vocal wise, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I love it's rare that I get to explore my lower range. And like just recently, with getting back into music and stuff, I realized like, oh, I like singing down here. It feels good to be down here. And I'm like, my everyday speaking voice is like, up higher, or at least when I'm outside, but when I'm like to myself, it's like lower.
Mm,
And I love exploring that low range. So yes, I do accredit Tony Braxton. And
sweet.
one of my other main idols, icons is Janet Jackson.
There we go. Now we are talking. You got the I really did enjoy a lot of these listens. I'm not here to bullshit. I really do. This is, I can't sing to save my life. So I do want to give everyone.
I believe
I,
I believe everybody has musically rhythmic whatever, even
okay,
if
so
they
I can
can't
do
sing.
sarcastic music, but I'm
There you go.
tenacious D has not come knocking yet. But
Mm,
uh, just coming back and your newest single, "All to You," both felt like a proper '90s throwback, like something I would have totally have heard at a mall. So I
thank
really applaud the
you.
mixing on that. "Lies" was a favorite of mine, and the electronic layering didn't hurt at all. "Another Round" was also a noble R&B effort. I think that was.
Thank you.
Uh, but where did you? Uh, why did you choose the scorpion symbol? It was just very kind of cool how that's kind of your logo.
Thank
Something
you.
we all fear, but when we see it in the movies, it's kind of cool. It's
Yeah,
fierce.
so um my birthday is October 30th.
Oh,
So I am definitely a Scorpio. And I kind of loved the thought of the scorpion symbolizing not only like mysterious loyalty, they also symbolize transformation. And
mm,
with my music, I've been experiencing growth through, being an only child, trying to be away from the world and myself. I haven't given myself permission to grow. And so now I'm
mm.
trying to put myself out there to, grow and explore and expand myself. So it all ties in with the Scorpio. And the reason why I kind of have it in that bluish greenish looking style is
Hmm.
because I'm very, very into like neon, black light, nighttime type of stuff. And I read somewhere that scorpions like are very like, how do put it? Fluorescent or bioluminescent. I don't know the right word, but like if you put them under a black light, they glow.
Oh
And
wow,
yeah.
I had no
And
idea.
so it all ties into everything that I like, the neon black light and just being that light within the dark for myself.
So now you know,
So
guys. Check your pillows before you go to bed at night.
wow. It all I just love being a Scorpio too. So it all ties
Oh, there you go. Okay, wow. So Gemini to Scorpio. Here's looking at you, kid. First time I met a scorpion, we had just moved into a new house. It was miniature. I
in.
screamed and dropped a plate on it by accident, and that killed it.
I've never I mean, I've only seen like scorpions
I get
like
them a
behind a
lot.
glass. I've never seen one in real life to where I are out in the open. So I'm like, if I ever were to meet one, I'd probably either have to suck it up or I might run. I
It's
don't know.
creepy.
Right. And so I'm like having the scorpion as my symbol and all that. And like one day I might come
No, they're
across
very
one.
cool,
Run.
especially when my favorite rock band is the Scorpions.
Uh-huh.
But
Mhm.
but
Because
no,
I
that
don't know too much of their music, but I have heard of them.
all
So
I know is they're gonna rock you like a hurricane.
mm.
That's one of their songs. Anyway, those damn Germans, they know how to rock.
It's like, I'm gonna have to listen to that one though. I'm gonna have to listen to it. I like exploring new music. So
Sweet. But what was your favorite music genre in general growing up?
90s R&B
No, that's
for
fine.
sure.
I think a lot more people do love it more than they give themselves credit for. It's just I don't know if you see this. I see people kind of in denial. Oh, I never liked that. Yes, you did. I was there.
Hmm.
It's
It's
not a
like
contest. It's not
can't deny it.
I,
It's like
there's no need. Come on.
yeah, and I have like coworkers like to this day who like still listen to like rap from the 90s like well I know NWA was kind of sort of like in and out of like 90s 80s but still listen to that. I also credit early 2000s music as well.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out. Oh, that's
Like,
good.
you know, Usher. I almost called him Ursher. I mean, I know you can say it. I was like Ursher.
Whatever your name is, Ursher. Yeah, that's the has-been knockoff group.
It's like Ursher, baby. But yeah, so,
Perfect.
but yeah, so 90s R&B, early 2000s,
Wait,
all of that.
it's a Mary J. Blige in there.
Yeah, no
She was kind
more
of the
drama.
first voice I realized, but kind of like many of these rock and pop groups, I didn't know their name because my father was the music guy and my mother only listened to what was on the radio. So I had a very mixed upbringing.
Yeah.
You were talking to a guy who was raised on the Pointer Sisters, Rick Ashley, and ZZ Top. So there you go. But
Okay, Pointer Sisters, I see you.
I love everything. But and I know that sounds just so wide of me. It's like, oh, I love everything. No, I legit, that it wouldn't be a genre if it didn't have any relevance of any sort. You know?
Yeah, I'm like, music should, I mean, no matter what genre, I'm like, if it makes you feel good, if it's something that you enjoy listening to, just listen to it, no matter
It's also
what.
fun having to kind of find a way to kind of compromise if it's a music that you're not necessarily crazy about. Like my younger brother is actually bigger than me, is into country. I'm not into country, but I will uh have a I'll compromise and say no, I'll listen to Hootie and the Blowfish. Darius Rucker, he's a good
Like, yeah, I was like, I'll
rocker.
give something to try, you know. If
He's more
I mean,
folk rock, but he just happens to do country side gigs. But kudos
uh-huh.
to anyone who can wear that many hats. And you apparently have, because you have an acting background, and then you decided music is where my efforts mainly lie.
Mhm.
So getting back to you, enough about stupid me. So
Good.
where do you find? How did you assemble your producing team?
So this is what happened. Okay, so I was on good old Instagram, right?
Woo!
And this was around the time, you know, COVID was starting. And
Yes.
I was just going through Instagram, and I don't know if you know Brian Blanks. He also went to KD, and I seen that, you know, he was making music, and I really liked Better Thing,
Oh, the
Hot
former
Love, you
football
know.
guy. Yeah,
Hmm?
the former football player.
No, he went to KD. I don't think he played football, but
Okay.
he was he was a class underneath me, and he was making music. And so I went to see, you know, where he went to make music or who he went to make music with.
Yeah.
And I saw that it was a Sound Alarm studio.
Mhm.
So I instantly just followed it
Nice.
and didn't think anything of it. I just followed. Next thing I know, Mitch, who is the producer from Sound Alarm Studio, he is the one that actually hit me up
Yep.
on excuse me. He actually hit me up on Instagram saying like if I had any music or if there's something that, you know, I could send him that I, you know, have done. And
Mm,
so I did, and he was like, wow, you have nice voice and stuff. You want to work on something.
sweet.
And that's how that all began. I started working with him, and I had been working with him with that EP for 3 whole years. And so what went from a simple follow on Instagram ended up becoming this work collab, and
Sweet.
it turned out to be great.
Lovely, lovely. Yes, for those who don't know, the producing studio she's with is uh yeah, just had the link in front of me. Uh yeah, Mitchell Beats.
Hmm.
uh how are you liking Sound Alarm Studios?
Sound Alarm Studios, it was pretty good. We funny story is he traveled to 3 different locations. He had 3 different locations as we were working together. And I followed to each one because this project was something that I wanted to continue working on, and I knew it was going to be something good one day. I just didn't know exactly when to put it out or when I was
Predicting is hard.
make it good. Yeah. But you know, working with Mitch, he helped me out in a lot of ways. He's also helped me out in trying to know like what goes down and what goes on in the music industry. And
Mm,
at one point, you know, I was just kind of like, yeah. I'm like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it turned out that some of it was very helpful.
lovely. One of your co-writers is Dominique Mitchell Sr. How is he?
Oh, that's actually Mitch. He just a different name.
Want me to
I
edit
know,
that
right?
out?
We all got stage names. We all
Should I
got
edit
different
that out?
names that we go by. But for the longest
Should
time,
I
I
edit that
thought
out?
Mitch. Huh, I'm sorry.
Should I edit that out?
Oh, I mean, probably for him.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, but I'll still tell you. Like for the longest time, I thought his name was Mitch. Mitch. That was his real name
Mitch
until we
Mitchell.
started. Yeah, until we started putting things in. And he's like, my name's Dominique. I was like, who is Dominique. Like, who are you?
That's
Who
an
have I been
elegant
working,
name.
right? Like, who have I been working with? But it kind of just lets you know right there, everybody has a stage name. Everybody, creates their own person who they are in the industry. And, it's just, you kind of get used to it. You love it.
Lovely. Okay, so um, now that Spotify has evolved and Deezer and Apple are making it easier for people to submit their own music, how have you embraced these multiple platforms to get your material out?
Uh, well, I'm just very happy that I even have things on all of these,
Hmm.
like Spotify, which I never would have thought would be on there.
Yeah,
It all still kind of feels like it's unreal. Like it still
I did
feels
too.
like,
I thought it was going to go
right?
the way of SoundCloud, where it's used, but not all that much.
Yeah, and it's like I never thought that it would really like pick up, or it just still seems like every now and again it's like, I've been playing this song off my phone for the longest time, and it hasn't even, even when it wasn't out, I've been hearing it, and so it just sounds normal to me. But like now I'm hearing it in people's cars, or I'm hearing my mom and dad listen to it in the other room, to where it's kind of like it's exciting. And
Hmm.
so with that excitement, I've been like putting it on different posts just to get it out there. I've been boosting it. I've been sharing different links to people, whether the link is from YouTube, whether the link is from Spotify, whether it's from iTunes. I've
Sweet.
been, I've been sharing it from different platforms because I also realized they kind of sound different if you listen to them from different platforms as well. Like
It is
you,
wild, the playback, and you're like, that's how they
yeah.
hear it? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's like when you listen to it from Spotify, there's like some subtle differences than listening to it from YouTube, or there's subtle differences listening to it from Apple. So it's kind of like you're getting different experience from different um streaming sites, but they're all the same song. I don't know how to explain that, but
No, I totally understand what you mean. Hopefully this makes better sense for everyone. Kind of just you're hearing more on this speaker versus that format, and you kind of see it
Mhm.
even with video games. And I mean, if you want to
Yeah,
even look at DVD versus Blu-ray, you're seeing more detail than you sometimes more than you want to see. And
yeah.
speakers, you're hearing more. Well, when I was listening to the radio still, I would sometimes hear some deep cuts on some of those more contemporary channels, and I was like, "Is that a? That sounds like a studio edit." Because I've never heard
Yeah,
it in the various radio edits.
it's the weirdest thing. And it's like, you listen to a song on the radio and then it has like that scratchy kind of
Yeah.
static to it. And then it's like, I want to listen to this. I want to listen to the song, but I want to hear it clearer. So you like go to like Spotify or something. And it's like, it sounds so much 10 times better. And so, yeah, like just sharing different links with people to get the different sounds. It's one of the ways I distribute my music out to people too. So it's been good.
Nah, that's lovely. Uh, Altogether, when you go into what do you recommend in terms of just planning lyrics, uh, writing the notes for those who have to do that, and just coming up with a concept that you even want to sing about? What do you think you spend the most time on?
Um, I think I spend the most time on because I can come up with like melodies and stuff on the spot. I'm the type that can like if I hear something in my head, I'll go with that flow.
Mm,
And if the words come with that, then cool, I got something that I can put down or I can instantly like record it on my phone. Um when it comes to some words or just like trying to write a song, um I start by writing as if I'm writing a journal entry, like don't worry about a beat. I don't worry about like timing or worry about rhythm. I just write as if I'm writing in a journal. And
Mm.
if it's meant to be a song, it'll make its way to finding like I can find a rhythm that'll go with it. Or if I find like if someone like provides a beat that just sounds good, and then I have like these book of journal entries or words or whatever that I can try and melodically fit it in, fit the words into the beat to make it into a song. And if I need to alter the words for it to make more sense or to
Mm.
sound more like rhythmic, then yeah, I can do that. I mean, that's probably an easier thing to do for me. But those are like two ways I would say that I like to create the songs and the music.
Mm. No, that actually sums it up better for me because not it's kind of like how some people can read a foreign language better than they can speaking it. Like I can recognize certain Spanish words, but I'm terrible at the conjugation and pronunciation, let alone
See,
enunciating it. And
if
uh, uh,
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was about to say that is one of the reasons why I feel like I'm not fluent in Spanish, because the conjugations I could not get those, and I took like 4 years.
You say it a certain same. Yeah, I even worse in college. Yeah, it's interesting how if you slant it a certain way in terms of how you're stating it, it sounds past tense versus present tense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I ain't got time for the confusion. I just want to speak Spanish.
So you guys are like some of my grandparents who were like, beer, pointing at beer.
I
That's
can't.
all I can say. So yeah, some people can perform music and other people just want to write it probably. When you were embracing this, how did you think you were going to fit in with this? Like, did you just kind of want to just sing and then found out you also wanted to write the lyrics?
I I wanted to do both.
Sweet.
Mm, I I always knew I could sing. I always knew that I wanted to perform, but for me, the struggle was writing, because I never really thought of myself for the longest time as a good lyricist.
Mm.
For the longest time, anytime I thought about writing songs or did write songs, they just seemed so simplistic. Like, you're the one for me. I love you. This is fantasy. This is where we're meant to be. Instead of like some like deeper like words to fabricate everything or to make it not so simple. I like songs that kind of have um like metaphors, analogies, all the type of literary stuff. But I wasn't really that good in English in class, but it I just always assumed I was not the best lyricist because my words seemed so simplistic. But I did I tried a class with Bree, who is
Yes.
an amazing songwriter.
For those who don't know, she is pals with other local Dallas Fort Worth music pop artists, Bree McKay and Danny Renee, who we
Yes,
previously have
shout
had on
out to
here.
both of them. Shout out to
Yep.
both of them. And I kind of realized, like, you just gotta find words to kind of replace those simplistic words, but that mean the same. Like,
Mm.
you can always use a thesaurus. There's always Google. There's
Yes.
Google is your friend sometimes. So that that really helped in helping me be a better songwriter. It, and now I'm like, I can write anything.
No,
I
that's lovely.
can. Thank you. Yeah. So I, I've gotten better at being a songwriter over the years, but I always knew I was good with singing.
It's kind of
So
also opens up subtext. Have you ever heard of that format where you're saying something, but you're kind of using a stylistic choice. Like instead of saying I love you, I adore you, you say I can't live the world without you. Like
Yes.
screenwriters will use that, and I relate as a
That,
screenwriting, and it's just
yes.
so frustrating. And I salute anyone else who can pull it off. Sometimes even a generic line of dialogue actually works. It's just kind of how it's delivered, kind of. And but
Yes.
like you say, it's hard to tell on just the page before it comes together.
Yeah. So that right there, what you just said, speaks exactly what I'm talking about. You fabricated what I said.
I stole, but yeah, it is like you say, it's both creatively intriguing, but also a little frustrating because it's just like I know what I want to say, but I don't want to say it any of these ways.
Right, that part right there. And you get it. You get it.
At least you're not like Billy Joel, where you're like, I got to play it a totally different way, and they're like, no, it's working.
Right.
You
Oh
can just
God.
play Piano Man this way.
Ah man. Joe.
But it's hard. It's hard to know when to even kind of let it speak on its own terms before too many chefs are in the kitchen. And
Mm-hmm.
have you ever had anything like that where you're like, I got to sleep on this and come back to it tomorrow?
Yeah, all the
All
time.
the time.
All the time. Like I I get in so much of a creative mode to where sometimes I'm like, I need to take a step back from this. If I can't continue this right now. I need to focus on something else.
I'll
Yeah.
restructure it. When do you kind of just feel like you are finally at the end of the tunnel? You're like, I have said what I've said. I like how it sounds on the playback. I think
Mm.
this will find a crowd.
Okay. So with that, it takes a lot for me to say it's done. It
Mm.
it takes a lot
Perfection.
because I always feel like there's always something missing. There's always more that can be done. I can sound better. I could write better. I could make this sound better. And it took a minute to just be like, the more you do to it, the more you're gonna feel like you have more to do to it
Mm.
because you keep changing it.
Nice.
Just stop. If it gets to a point to where it sounds good, but the only thing you have to say about it is that it could be better, maybe you just need to stop right there. It's like maybe right now this is where you need to either stop or you need to come back to it later
Nice.
because it's you don't want to do too much to it to where people don't understand it, or you
Mhm.
don't want to do too much to where it's confusing. You want to have just the right amount, and if it comes to a point to where you should have added more or did need more, okay, now you know that now, so
Bingo.
apply that to the next song, you know. So I definitely have those problems sometimes.
It's not easy. Trust me.
Mm-mm. And it's not easy being a creative. Just like Erica Badu says, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Love her. I love her. She is awesome. And yes, she does know how to enunciate that. I'm done with your shit. Um,
Um,
you have the most awesome '90s themed hat.
Thank you.
How would you describe your fashion?
I would definitely say that my fashion comes from the 90s era. I am a 90s baby.
Same.
93 in the house. Um, so I always feel like I was meant to be in the 90s for some reason. I'm like, even though I was born in it, I kind of wish I was like a teenager in it or an adult in it,
Mhm.
to kind of it really truly experience the 90s vibe. But since I can't, I kind of am bringing it to the 2024 2020s era. Um And so, and in the 90s also has had a big influence on me musically, for sure. So why not pay tribute to my inner child or me back then and, bring that 90s back to now, to me as an adult. Um, and also I would like to say I give a little bit of like some 80s here and there and even some 70s here and there. Granted, I haven't like put it out there like that as much as the 90s era vibe, but though that era also has influenced my style too. The soul and funk type era as well. That's all my style right there.
There you go. Nice.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very cool. Altogether, have you always kind of been into tattoos and other abstract art designs also?
Yes,
Nice.
I've been obsessed with tattoos. I want to get more. So as of right now, I have 11 tattoos.
You're a big Harley Quinn fan, I can see.
Yes, I
Nice.
love her. She's one of my favorite villains. As well as the Joker. She's holding the Joker in one hand and Batman in the other.
Yes.
So that's good. That was kind of my way of also getting a Joker and a Batman tattoo. I was like, I don't want to get full Joker Batman tattoos, but I at least want to incorporate them.
Right.
But tattoos for me, it's like I'm an artist too. I like to draw and paint and sketch. And so I like to think of my body as a canvas as well. And so if
Oh,
and with things that mean a lot to me, like for instance, I have not only this Michael Jackson tattoo on my arm, I have a crown and his signature underneath the crown on my
there we
ankle.
go. Look at
I'm
you.
planning, yeah, I'm planning to get Janet Jackson on the other side, like one of her album covers on there, the Janet album, the one where the guy's holding her boobs, but not gonna get boobs, just gonna get from here up. I have a whole bunch of inspirations on me. I have a memorial of my papa on my leg who died in 2017.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. He didn't get to see my music become what it is, but he's always with me. I have this little heart. It was a necklace, but the chain broke, sadly.
Mm,
And this heart, it has his picture on it, and I carry it almost everywhere with me. And he was in my pocket at my concert. He
gotcha.
couldn't fit on this chain, which I wanted him to fit on this chain so I could have him close to my heart during the performance. But he was still there. He was in my pocket. So I
That
carried him
counts.
with me. He got front row seats.
You got a free ticket too.
Exactly. Right smack dab like in my face. But yeah, and I have other tattoos that kind of either express my creativity, express things that I like, a tattoo that tells me to keep thriving.
Mm,
So tattoos are just a way of being creative and keeping myself lifted and inspired. And they look good. They make me, especially if you go work out and like you have
yeah.
like arm tattoos or tattoos on your stomach, and then you just look at how they just pop. It makes you really want to go even harder in the gym. So I'm like,
Nice.
get you some tattoos. They'll help you work out.
Got some inspiration. Nice. Yeah, no, I've always been subjective about what I put on my body, but I always like looking at it because there are just some people who I do feel like it speaks to them as a person and like they look good with it. Like if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I mean, we're artists, so it makes sense to kind of be walking art pieces.
Yeah, and it helps, like, you can have memories with the tattoos.
Hmm.
Like, you may not remember, like, with certain tattoos, you remember who you were with at the time, why you got it that time, and you can just remember certain memories with the specific tattoo. So tattoos also bring good memories or bad ones. They're monuments on your body, as if you're a walking museum in some way.
That makes sense. I mean, it's also just what's the right word? I guess you could say people. I mean, I listen to a lot of mental health and fitness podcasts, and do you know the main source of like everything bad, whether it's
Mm,
bullying or naysayers, tends to
yeah.
be insecurity. So you already know, I'm sure you already do in this case, but most people seem to forget, hey, if someone's telling me, you know, to do this, do that, they're already insecure in their own body. I'm
Mhm.
already know what I should be doing. You don't have to tell me what to do.
Right. Right. It's like, I know what I'm doing. Thank you.
So
And if I'm doing something wrong, okay, I'll
I'm
figure it
sorry
out.
you don't like me. That doesn't
It's
have
like,
anything to
yeah.
do with me.
It's like, it's like, you do you, and I'll stay over here. I'll do me. We don't have to.
Bye.
We good. Like, see you.
And it's just something to know. So, like, next time you're actually at the gym and
Mhm.
someone's like, "Hey, you got to make Gus look good," I'm like, I don't have to do anything. I'm doing what I should be doing."
Like, I'm doing what I came here to do, and thank you. I appreciate it, but no.
I'm sorry you have nothing better to do except pick on people who you think are weak.
Right. Like, what? Stay in your lane. And like,
Yes. I've had to
go over
do that in my
there.
security job. I saw someone who was finding out that I was reporting a house on the market that had squatters in it, and they wanted to see, oh, you gonna arrest them like they do on TV? I'm like, please go back inside and mind your
It's
business.
like, it's
And
like,
no.
exactly. Stop being nosy.
uh, it's like, well, and that's another source of where we kind of are as a toxic society. People like to see other people fail. They seem to get off on it, and
Like,
I never
no.
understood it. Ever since 9/11, when I saw Middle Eastern guys getting picked on just because they didn't look like other typical crowds, it's just like, yeah, I no one should have to be in a battle to fit in.
And that's the thing. And that's why I feel like a lot of us are afraid to be ourselves too,
Hmm.
because and I know from my experience at least, I'm like, I feel like I'm two different people when I'm performing as
Right?
my
Oh my
actual
word.
self.
Yes,
Yeah. So me being, and it's
we
kind
do
of
it at
hard.
work.
Yeah,
When
it's
I
kind of
clock in,
hard for
I'm
me to
this.
be myself. Yes. It's like it's like, don't get me wrong. I would love to get to know people and be
Hmm.
more socially interactive and stuff, but there's that fear of like, oh, what
What if you
if
don't
this,
like me? Yeah.
yeah, what if you don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing when I don't mean to say the wrong thing, especially at work when I'm just here,
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
trying to, I'm just trying to do my job and go home. That's all I want to do. But if I make friends along the way, great. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm also afraid, but it's one of those, like, that's why people are so scared to be themselves, is because of the judgment or because of
I feel you. I used to work
just
valet, and I met all kinds of personas. And one guy not only was bad at paying attention, he was either a real big narcissist or just wasn't even interested in listening to anybody, but he thought he was listening and he wanted to know
mm,
everything about us. I'm like, well, first off, that is complete wrong sauce. That don't force me to be your friend and talk to you. And he would even do stuff like that. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. I'm like, well, I don't think anyone else here wants to talk to you. You're forcing the scene to happen.
yeah.
Like, if I had come up to you and said, "You're the good review now," you'd be like, "Fuck you, Cam." Don't talk to me that way. People don't have a personal space bubble. They like to kind of ambush you, and it's just like
Yeah, you don't want there in that
I'll
time
decide
you
if this
don't wanna
takes
be
place.
ambushed. Yeah, at times when you don't want to be ambushed too, and
Hmm.
it's one of those you. I just like just stay over there
It's
and
mystifying.
yeah, but also you know that it apparently that's the way you gotta if you want to get to know people, you gotta say something.
No, that's true. I mean, instead of just sitting silently, I think I learned that from bullying. Just sitting in the corner, not saying anything, only encourages them more. I should have actually, if I had to give it over, I'd be like, "Please, I have nothing to share. Please leave me alone so I can go home and watch
Right.
cartoons. I'm not here."
Exactly. That's all I want to do. Just lay in the bed with my dog and watch TV or just listen to music
I once
or
got
just,
told I sucked because I was doing extra credit. I'm like, okay, so I want to get out of the prison. That's school. Okay, yeah, sure. I suck.
oh man. I speaking of extra credit, this one time I had to be in solitary confinement for some extra credit in
What?
but yeah. That I
Was
actually
it just a nonstop research or?
no, here's the thing. I actually enjoyed this extra credit because it gave me a chance to kind of just be alone, yet write about being alone.
Oh
Um,
wow,
yeah,
that is kind of poetic,
yeah, it was
kind
in
of meta.
my junior year of high school. In order to get extra credit for the class, my teacher was like, "All right, you need to be, you need to isolate yourself for about, I think it was, can't remember how many hours. I think it was like 3 hours.
Oh
It had to
man,
be
that's the tension.
like no TV. It was like no TV,
Isolation.
no clock, like nothing, literally isolated.
All you can do
in
is twiddle your
your-
thumbs for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, you had to write the experience down too.
Right.
But
No, you'll
I
be inspired, but no, that
yeah,
is a while to adjust to at first, especially at that age. Where it was
I
this high,
actually
this
enjoyed it though, because I'm like, I'm an only child, so I was like, okay, bet.
high
So
school.
yeah,
Oh
and I just
man,
sat in my closet. I sat in my closet because my TV was outside of the room. So I sat in my
so the teacher's
closet.
gonna know for sure whether you did
Mm,
it or not. If it's
yes,
just I sat, that tells me nothing.
yes, I sat and I just wrote. Man, I still have
Using it in frames.
the book.
That's
I
great.
still have the book in my room. And I wrote, oh gosh, I can't remember how many pages I wrote, but whenever I turned it in, it's like basically almost half the composition notebook. I did that and I had to do that for like a week. I can't remember how many days I did that. I had to do, yes, 5 days. I remember I had to do it for 5 days. And I was in the closet for several hours just writing. My hand would get tired. I was the least allowed to eat. I could still eat. So I did
Sweet.
bring food in the closet with me, but I had to write, I'm like, I'm eating right now. What am I doing? Blah, 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 blah. I even like drew a picture in my closet and I'm writing the story about the doodle that I did in my closet. You kind of realize like you kind of go a little crazy, but I liked writing my crazy. It was like,
Nice.
allegory in the cave type stuff.
Hey, so that is meta. That is that might
No,
be the
right.
start of your creativity. Did
Right.
you do any? But before we go, did you do any poetry by chance? Growing up, also, you seem kind of.
Poetry.
I don't know why. You just kind of seem like the type.
Oh,
It's
I've
just a
never
wag.
done
I,
poetry. But, I've always like kind of like the whole like spoken word vibe. I never done
Mhm.
it personally, but I love the vibe of it.
It's not easy because it's not even necessarily about rhyming. It's kind of
Mhm.
about. I got a C in college, so I knew I wasn't cut out for it. But at least I tried. Basically, you just like you were saying earlier on how open you are.
Yeah.
And that is definitely the kind of the key to it. How deep do I want to get with it? I'm not saying you got to be blunt or explicit, but like how
Yeah.
vivid are you with your descriptions? And I must have been just creatively bankrupt that final year because I just couldn't ever just please the teacher. I'm like, I've come up with a homeless man looking for work and a musician and man putting all this random stuff together. That's not good enough for you. I don't know what you want from me. So maybe I needed a push. But I kudos to anyone who can just be inspired and just say, I want to draw that. I want to sing about that. I want to make up something about that.
Mm-hmm. Like spoken word though, that's something I never thought to want to do, but the vibe of it just seems like something that I could do.
Maybe you could
I
be
mean,
one of the voices. I use a lot of meditating gear for sleep. Maybe you could be one of those mystical voices saying, go to sleep.
I thought about that the other day too. It's funny you mentioned that
Get a
'cause I
contact,
was just,
Joney. You
yeah,
could be
I'm
the
like
computer startup voice.
randomly out of nowhere. I can't remember. I think I was at work when I was like, I'm feeling calm. Welcome, Joney. And
Shutting
you are
down now.
welcome to, yeah, welcome to your meditation space. I am
There you go.
Joney.
She's
Like,
Joney. There's no doubt.
yes,
She said it herself. She is Joney.
right? I'm
And we're
like,
not.
watch me going from like Little John, one moment saying yeah to the next moment, I am Little John, and this is your morning meditation.
And maybe you could even be one of those bumpers that you hear on satellite radio now. You're
Ooh,
listening to the morning show.
it's like
Don't
105.
switch the channel. Yeah,
God
105. There you go.
Quiet storm. You are listening to smooth R&B and classic
There
soul.
you go. 89.3. Yeah.
All of it.
104.5 classic hip hop.
K-Soul. 106.1. Kiss FM.
Oh, we need to feature your music on Kiss FM. That would be great.
Yes. One day.
Instead of calling into the station, here, you're hearing me
Like,
and I'm playing my music in the background. Play it.
right, just call the radio station as if I'm going to answer the question and then just put my music on.
Whose
They'll
music
just have
is
to hang
it?
up. They'll just have to hang up on me, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to have to hang up.
Wonderful. Joney, it's been a blessing. I might need you to score an audio drum I got coming up in the future.
Yes. I'm interested in working with anybody. I'm interested. I haven't gotten to like collab very much. So I would really, really enjoy
I like
if
to
anybody's
say,
out there.
post-COVID kind of made everyone reconsider their life.
Like hit your girl up. But no,
Godspeed to you out there.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed this interview. This is my first podcast interview. Well, I guess second if you want to count Cameron Martin back in when COVID first started.
There's another Cam out there?
Cameroon, yes. I like to call him Cameroon, but his name is Cameron Martin. I'm a RuPaul's Drag Race fan too. I got that from Bibi Sahara Bonet from Cameroon.
Wow.
So. But yes, I appreciate you for inviting me.
I appreciate you. You were a very vivid storyteller. So
I try to be decorative.
You don't try. It's second nature, baby. It's second nature. Right. Godspeed to you, and you be safe out there. I'll keep you updated. We should get this out by summer.
All right. Thank you.
Godspeed, and we'll see you at a network event very soon.
Yes, you will.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a